My name is Costan Cosmin. I'm a product manager of Saybridge, and I will be your host for the second MyCert webinar. Last time, we spoke about the problems in the maritime industry. This time, we will talk about a bit about who we are and what is MyCert, and we will talk about how companies and seafarers can benefit from our platform. And then we will show you a live demo of our platform. If you have any questions during the meeting, I'll be happy to respond them on our last point, the question and answer section. For the ones that has not been present to our first webinar, I'd like to make a short summary. We spoke about the certificate management process in the maritime industry and about the fact that even if in some areas like autonomous vessels and use of virtual reality, the maritime industry shows a real appetite for technological improvement. In the certificate management, there are still a lot of problems due to the fact that in general, this is still a paper-based process. At the end, we stated that we believe that the most important barrier in making the certificate management more efficient is not the technological constraint, but more the mindset of the maritime industry. But with the last IMO FALS circular, we do hope that the things will move much faster in the right direction. And we talked about the problem that we identified in the maritime industry. And I would like to start with the training vendors. The biggest problem is the identity association, the training black market, and the costly issuing process. For example, by our calculation that we did for our clients, the minimum cost of issuing a certificate is 8.5 euros. For the seafarers, that they need to carry around paper certificates, store them in vulnerable places, leading to risk of damage and loss, and ultimately to a painful recovery process. For the crew management companies, the fact that the verification process is lengthy and costly. For the ship owners, that the hiring process is lengthy because of the verification process. And for the authorities, the long and costly verification process. In the next 30 minutes, I'd like to tell you how we believe that MyCert can solve these problems. And I would like to start with who we are. MyCert is a product created by Saybridge, a company that exists for more than 10 years in the maritime industry. And it's mainly known for the EXIS trainings, for which we issued more than 100,000 certificates. Being involved in the training industry for quite some time and working with a lot of companies in this industry, we believe that the certificate management platform will ease the life of the seafarers and the companies alike. We know the industry, we know our clients, and with some of them, we created MyCert in order to try and change this industry and bring something valuable for it. Basically, what we are trying to build is an ecosystem that involves all the players in the industry and gives them a unique and trustworthy platform to manage the certificate. In order to do this, we created an issuer app for training vendors, classification societies, and flag states. This is a platform that automates the issuing process. For the seafarers, we created the holder app in order to let them transform their paper certificates into digital certificates. And for the verifiers and organizers, we have the Verifier app to let them easily manage and verify certificates. Alternatively, all this information can be stored on blockchain in order to be easily used by other third parties. But moving to digital certificates brings substantial value. For example, reducing both issuing and ongoing costs of certificates. As I stated before, from our calculations, the minimum cost that a company can pay for issuing a certificate is around 8.5 euros. In this, we include paper, printing, manual labor, packaging, and posting. These calculations are done for printed certificates, but similar arguments can be made for any solution that involves Word templates, spreadsheets, or any other non-digital solution. Working with MyCert can save more than 80% of the issuing costs and the time needed to issue a certificate. And another advantage is the reduction of administrative overhead, since the cost of issuing certificates does not end once they are issued. Paper certificates generate a steady stream of ongoing administrative work, such as name changes, error correction, replacement of lost certificates, and verification. All these processes are automated and streamlined by MyCert. And just to give you an example, on our research, we have estimated that each traditionally issued certificate generates, on average, 15 minutes of administrative work over its lifetime. Another thing that MyCert can help a lot is the fraud prevention. There was an article which stated that 21% of all resumes include fraudulent qualifications, and anyone with basic Photoshop or photocopier skills can fake a paper certificate. Brands and qualifications are devalued by those falsely claiming to have completed the training vendor programs. With digital certificates, fraud is much harder. MyCert is digitally secure as it can generate protected electronic signatures, QR codes, and unique tracking numbers. Moreover, built on a blockchain, MyCert eliminates fraudulent certificates and will remove any doubts about their authenticity. So moving to MyCert makes it very easy for companies to prevent counterfeit certificates and provide an online verification mechanism for third parties to verify the certificate that you issue without needing to engage with you and take up your time. This verification tool is free and everybody can verify whenever they want the certificate. So this helps you as a company to reduce the services for those requests via telephone, email, or help desk. The entire verification process will be reduced from a long series of actions to a few clicks in the app. As a summary of what I said, the digital certificate solution puts you in control of the life cycle of your certificate in a way that is not possible with paper or email attachments. And not the last thing is the reputation. Organizations that adopt modern, effective digital technologies tend to be seen in a positive light by their stakeholders and the wider public. The use of digital certificates as a whole helps the company to position as a forward-thinking and embracing modern technology, increase the brand exposure of the company, and improve interaction with third parties, such as employers verifying certificates. For the holders, for the seafarers itself, they can upload all their documents in MyCert alongside with the certificates that are automatically issued by MyCert. It gives them control over their certificates with functionalities like sharing and posting on social media, and let them organize their documents as they wish. Another thing is that the communication is streamlined by the app in regards to the certificate issued from MyCert by creating a direct communication channel between the seafarer and the issuer. For the verifiers, they can, for free, verify the authenticity of a certificate, leaving no doubt about if the certificate is valid or not. More, MyCert let the verifiers to integrate in order to be able to verify in bulk the certificates and move the data from MyCert to their own ERP system. Overall, an ecosystem in which all the players are in interaction assures a better communication, an overall process efficiency, more control over the certificate, and a decreased number of incidents. Now that we talked about the benefits of MyCert and the problems in the maritime industry, I'd like to show you how MyCert works and how you can issue a certificate through MyCert. This is MyCert application. And I will log in from the first in order for you to see all the flow. So when you enter first in MyCert application, you have a dashboard with a summary of the activities that were made in MyCert. For more detailed reports, an analytics section exists. In order for you to be able to issue a certificate, what you need is a group. You can look. Sorry? I will go to Savebridge company. So in order to be able to issue a certificate, what you need is a group. You can look at groups like a course, for example. After you have the group, you will need a template, how the certificate that you will generate will look like. And you will need, of course, students. So I will create a group. Let's call it MyCert Basic Training. After you created the name, you have to choose a target. Target means who I certify. I can certify people, I can certify organizations, I can certify ships or any other entity that you want. Entities are something that depends on the company itself. They are very easy to create. And the details of the targets are created by the customer itself. Tags, if you want to create reports regarding the groups, and any other kind of fields that your certificate require. For example, for I will create a new field called trainer. So I will need a trainer, and I will need this trainer to appear on my certificate. I will say that it's searchable. So if I want to see a list of students that have this trainer, I will be able to do that. And it's required. So I will need a trainer on the certificate. After I created the group, as we said, we will need a visual identity of the course. So how the course will look like. Well, we need to create a template. Creation of templates in MyCert is extremely easy. It can be made with drag and drop. And you can choose between text, images, sections, QR codes, electronic signatures, images, and any other kind of field that you will need on your certificate. In order to be efficient in this presentation, I will use already existing template. And I will just rename it into MyCert Basic Training. I will not need an accreditor. I will not need a name. So I'm saving this template. If I have an expiration on this template, I can add it here, and all the certificates that will be issued from this group regarding MyCert basic training will expire after a period of time. So now I added the template to the group. And the last thing that I need in order to release certificates, I need students. Students can reach MyCert in several ways. One, it's from import from Excel files. So if you have CSV files with your students, the CSV files can come from your websites or from your own database. You can select from the database of MyCert. So if you had a student that will participate to a new course, you can do that by just selecting the student. You can edit manually, and this is what I will do now. Or you can use MyCert web forms. Web forms are a tool that in which you can create a web form and you can post it on your website, for example, on your internal system, which will collect the data about your students. I will create myself. The fields that are required in this form are absolutely under your control. This is the fields that this course needs. If you need another field or you don't need these fields, you can always delete them or add new ones. And let's put a trainer name. And save the recipient. Now that I have a template, I have a group, and I have a recipient, I can release a certificate. Before that, if I would have more recipients and not only one, I would be able to release the certificate for 100 students only with a click of a button. So now I will release the certificate for this student. After I press the button, the status is certificate issued. So I do have a certificate. So I can see that today I issued a certificate, and for MyCert Basic. From this window, I can resend or I can revoke the certificate. If I want to see all the certificates issued for a specific person or a specific ship, I can do that by going into the recipients and choose recipient. And here I see that Claire have 3 certificates issued on his behalf. One is for ZRC, and it's a trainer certificate. Again, I can revoke them. And this is how easy you can issue a certificate for MyCert. But what happens with the CFAR? Once I issued a certificate, I will go to the email address I issued certificate for. And if I would be a student, Here, the application tells me that I have a new certificate issued by Saybridge, and I have to claim the certificate. Now, this certificate belongs to me, and I can group if I want. For example, I do have a group with my Maritime certificates, which in this moment doesn't contain any kind of certificate. And now any verifier will be able to verify my certificate by going to mycert.com and click on the Verifiers app. So now if I check this certificate, it will tell me that a certificate was issued by Drummond, it's valid and verified, it doesn't need an accreditation, and does not have an expiration date. If I want to preview the certificate, I can do it from here, and I can even print it. Now, thank you very much for your time. I would like to ask you if you have any other questions. If not, I will invite you to our third webinar, in which we will deep into MyCert functionalities a bit more in detail. Thank you very much for your time.